Welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Years ago, I began recording the bedtime stories I told my children every night. Now, we would like to share those stories with you. I hope you enjoy my Stories for Wonderful Children.
It had been almost a full month since Frostbite had attacked the Elysium. It had been wonderfully quiet and warm. All of the visitors were back to the Elysium, and the renewed powers of the cat gem had kept both Frostbite and his sanguines far away. Flip-Flop was on his late evening patrol. He had taken a break from teaching the young cats how to fill up water balloons and slip them under people's bottoms just as they were sitting down in chairs so that the water balloon would splat and the people's bottoms would get all wet. Flip-Flop considered it part of his duty as a practical jokester to educate young cats about such important things. But he was taking a break from that now to attend to his duties as the guardian of the Elysium. He had walked about 3/4 of the way around the edge of the Elysium, checking the trees to make sure the leaves were all green, which they were, checking the border of the Elysium to make sure it remained sharp, with no snow drifting over the edge that might be a warning that something was wrong. He had almost finished his circuit when he saw something that he had not seen in quite some time. Standing just outside the Elysium, in the snow, was a penguin. Flip-Flop walked over. "Hello," he said. "How can I help you?" The penguin said, Yes, our leader, Flippo, has sent me to find you, Flip-Flop. He said that the penguins are being attacked by Frostbite in revenge for us helping you recover the Elysium, and he asks if you will come and help us against Frostbite." "Well, of course I will," said Flip-Flop.
Is Frostbite a boy or a girl? She's a girl, I think. Boy.
I don't know. I don't think Flip-Flop knows for sure, and I'm not really sure that all fairies are boys or girls. But I think with frost fairies, some frost fairies might be different. They might be neither boys or girls. They're just fairies.
I think they're all girls.
So I don't.
Probably they have like half of their head covered with hair and one half like completely bald.
That's possible. But in any case, Flip-Flop doesn't know. And so because Flip-Flop doesn't know, I don't know either. In any case, Flip-Flop went back and got his case full of different practical jokes that he thought he might need. And he took one of the pills that he now always kept in the Elysium in case of emergencies that made his coat grow long and thick and heavy. He took it and then walked back to the penguin. Before he did that, he did send a note along the Cat's Paw Highway to Flibbertigibbet, asking Flibbertigibbet to send someone else, or several someone else's, to help guard the Elysium while Flip-Flop was away. He did not want Frostbite to do something like distract him and lure him out of the Elysium and then attack the Elysium while he was away. So he wanted to make sure it was safe. Then he went back to where the penguin was standing. He said, "So, what's your name?" And the penguin said, "My name is Ronald." "Ronald?" said Flip-Flop. "Is that a usual name for a penguin?" "Oh yes," said Ronald. "I have 3 brothers who are all named Ronald, and 27 cousins that are all named Ronald too." "Really?" said Flip-Flop. How do you tell each other apart?" "Well, half of the cousins are girls, so that makes it a little easier." "Wait a minute," said Flip-Flop. "You have girl cousins named Ronald?" "Yeah," said Ronald. "Do you have a problem with that?" No," said Flip-Flop. "That's fine. You can name yourselves whatever you want. Just wondering." "All right," said Ronald. "We better get moving." "So what's Frostbite been doing?" said Flip-Flop. "Well," said Ronald, "Frostbite has been trying to cause us problems because we helped you. And you know that we use the ice caves to slide from one area to another. So he's been doing things like having the Singwons sneak into our ice caves and put sharp rocks along our ice slides so that penguins run into them and get hurt when we're sliding along. And he's also been using his frost magic to seal up ice caves by causing ice to collapse over the entrance so that we can't get in or out. My goodness, said Flip-Flop. What are you doing about it? Well, said Ronald, Flippo's been stepping up penguin patrols so that we're catching most of the Singwons before they get far enough in to cause problems. And whenever a cave gets sealed up, we just dig it out. But still, I wish there was some way to keep Frostbite away from our caves. Said Flip-Flop. Well, let's go have a talk with Flippo. So, Flip-Flop got out his banana peels, and he flopped down on them, and they began sliding along the ice cave. And as they were sliding along, Ronald suddenly said, "Watch out!" And he sort of flipped over on his side, and Flip-Flop could see that right ahead of them was a fairly big, sharp rock, and he was headed right towards it. Flip-Flop rolled off of his banana peels, and without the slipperiness of the banana peels, his fur slowed him down, and he put out his claws and tried to dig them into the ice, making a sort of sound, and he managed to slow himself down enough that he just hit the big rock with a very soft bump, and he was not hurt. He looked at the rock and then back at Ronald. He said, "Are you all right?" "Yeah," said Ronald. "You okay?" "Yeah, I certainly see what you mean about these rocks causing problems. How'd the Singwons get it in here anyway?" "Well," said Ronald, "whenever we catch them, they have these little pebbles on them, and I think that there's some sort of magic pebble. They use some sort of magic word or something to turn the pebble into a big boulder, and they put it in place." "Oh," said Flip-Flop. "That's clever. I wish I had some pebbles like that." "Yeah, okay," said Ronald, "let's go." So they flopped back onto their bellies and they slid along the ice cave. And pretty soon they arrived in a big room with lots of penguins. Flippo was there and he said, "Hey, good buddy Flip-Flop, thanks for coming. So good to see you again." He gave him a big penguin hug, which basically involves walking up to him and sort of dipping his flippers on either side of him like this. And Flip-Flop licked him on the side of the beak, which is just the cat way of saying hello to a good friend. Flippo said, "So, has Ronald here been filling you in?" "Yeah," said Flip-Flop. "What do you want me to do?" Flippo said, "Well, I was sort of hoping you might have an idea." "Matter of fact, I do," said Flip-Flop. "You know how we use a cat gem to protect the Elysium?" "Yeah," said Flippo. "What we need to do is find a way to create a penguin gem that will protect your ice caves." "Oh, that's a good idea," said Flippo. "Where would we find something like that?" "Well," said Flip-Flop, "I know that our cat gem, we put the cat powers into it, but the gem itself was a gift from the Queen of the Water." "Oh," said Flippo. "Yeah, we know her. Maybe we ought to go have a talk with some of her folks." And so he immediately flopped down on his belly, and Flip-Flop had to really quickly get his banana peels out to flop down and follow him, and they slid along. And pretty soon, Flip-Flop could see that there was a big open area of water in front of him, and he had to slide off his banana peels and scrabble to a halt again. But Flippo just went splish right into the water. He was gone. Flip-Flop said, Flippo? Flippo!" There was no answer. A minute later, he heard a giggle. He turned around and looked at the water. There was the head of what looked like a human woman sticking up out of it. Flip-Flop walked to the edge, and when he looked in, he could see that she was not a human at all, because she had a fish's tail. "Well, hello," he said. "Hello," she said. "My name is Ariana." "Your name is what?" said Flip-Flop. "Ariana." "Can I just call you Ari?" "Sure," she said. Flip-Flop said, "So, do you happen to see a penguin go in there?" "Oh, yes," she said. "That's why I've come to tell you. Flippo, your friend Flippo is down talking to a few of the mermaids. We serve the Queen of the Water, and he's talking to us about your idea. As a matter of fact, we have another gem much like the one that Flippity-Gibbet used to make your cat gem, and I'm sure that we can arrange a trade for it. A trade, said Flip-Flop. What did Flippertigibbet trade the Queen of the Water? For the first gem. Oh, it wasn't a trade. She gave it to him as part of a diplomatic ceremony. And he gave her 100 cans of tuna fish, which, being the Queen of the Water, she can really have all the tuna fish she wants, but it was a nice thought. Yeah, said Flippo. Flippertigibbet has this thing about tuna fish. Anyway. So, what can we trade you for the gem? Oh, said the mermaids, well, see, we've been having this problem where we're running out of rocks on the seabed, and so we need a collection of rocks. Oh, that's no problem, said Flip-Flop. Flippo and his people are always moving rocks around from place to place. Yes, she said. Well, there seem to be a lot of rocks that we need, and we can't move them around very well under the ocean. Ah, said Flip-Flop. Tell you what, you tell Flippo that we're going to get you your rocks, and you all just keep track of that gem, okay? All right, said the mermaid. Flippo surfaced again and said, all right, good buddy. So what's this plan? They need a lot of rocks. I've seen the place they're trying to build, and they don't carry rocks very well. They're not like penguins. They really, they can't swim very well if they carry rocks. Don't worry, said Flip-Flop. I have an idea.
Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's story, but questions and witty commentary were supplied by my children. The music was created by Brandon Thompson. If you enjoy the show, please tell someone about it or leave a review on your podcast provider. Our website is storiesforwonderfulchildren.com, and you can also find us on most social media. I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story.